What's up, guys? Faruqi Bros here, back with another video, and today for you guys, we're going to be doing the end of the year podcast, ranking all of our favorite comic book films of the year, discussing kind of all the big stories, the big debates between what was the better ending, Avengers Endgame or Star Wars. We're going to be covering all of that today. So let's just, why even waste time? Let's get right into it. And I think the first thing we want to talk about how 2019 was kind of like the year of the endings, It was the ending for Game of Thrones. It was the ending for Toy Story. It was the ending for Avengers. It was the ending for Star Wars, right? These are the four big franchise enders that happened in 1 year. So I thought we should all, let's kick Game of Thrones out of it and let's keep it to Toy Story 4 versus Avengers Endgame versus Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. So, easy question. We'll run around the room. Of these three, which did the best service to its respective franchise, and which was the best ending, culmination story?
All right, the best ending for me was Endgame. I mean, as a culmination, I know a lot of you guys say it's like ham-fisted, and everybody's like, it's right, like in your face about it. But I honestly, it did the best job. I mean, watching it, just that feeling of it all coming together as a culmination. Those other films just didn't provide that, and obviously Toy Story can't kind of do that, but that's something Star Wars didn't provide, which I really wanted. So, just as a fan watching these characters, you see all the OG Avengers, Steve Rogers, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, they all get their endings, and Iron Man. So, as a complete full ending, I think Endgame did the best job of closing out what it was trying to do in the Infinity Saga, compared to Star Wars closing out Skywalker Saga and Toy Story closing out the Woody Saga, quote unquote.
The best ending was Rise of Skywalker, but as a culmination story and like how everyone just kind of comes in, it's like a ending of stories. I think Zion is right, although he said Hulk and I was like, shut up. But Captain America, Captain America, Tony Stark's ending, those two endings were so good. They're so much better than every other ending that we saw this year that you have to kind of give it to Endgame. But I think Rise of Skywalker did a better job. Like, it was still better.
But what about Woody's ending?
And that's the thing. Woody's ending made grown men cry. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's probably going to be, you know what? Yeah, probably Endgame, Rise of Skywalker, and then Woody.
Endgame had the best ending, but as a movie, it's like the worst out of all three. That's why Toy Story was the best movie out of all of them.
So you put Toy Story
as a combination for everything that was built up. Endgame was probably the best one.
So if you had to rank the three of them, how would you rank it?
Yeah, Endgame had the better ending. Yeah, okay, Endgame had the better ending, but as a film altogether, it wasn't really that good.
All right,
compared to the rest.
For me, I kind of agree with everyone's points. Listen, I know I get flack that, okay, I'm harder on Endgame than you guys are, and that's because the first and second act are kind of whack, but I would say the third act is still really good, and it has kind of all the right fan beats that you want to see, Toy Story 4 is kind of like, it's almost unfair to put it on this list because it's a very different type of movie than the other two, so really we should have kept it versus Rise of Skywalker's Endgame. But Toy Story, because we grew up with Woody, since from Toy Story 1, seeing that culmination every 10 years, one movie, and then you finally get to Toy Story 4 where all four of us are adults and we're watching this character who we all grew up with pretty much give his final goodbye. Like, I seriously doubt we're going to see another movie with these characters, at least for another 10 years or so. So I think it was very emotional. It kind of has that, you know what, I'll say this, for a kid's movie, surprisingly it had the most out there ending by far. Like, the other endings were considered safe. Like, I would say the safest ending was Endgame, where they just had to hit all the fan notes. The second safest ending was Rise of Skywalker. And then the most out there, the most visionary, the most visionary ending was Toy Story 4.
Rise of Skywalker is the safest ending. By far. Endgame was second.
No, safe means like a crowd pleaser. If it was a crowd pleaser, why are people still debating? People are debating to this day.
The safest ending would have been, kill off Steve Rogers. Not Iron Man. Nobody thought they would kill Iron Man.
Actually, everyone thought it was Iron Man or Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers. That's the guy. He's a soldier. He has to die. He's a later. That's it.
It could have been either one,
No,
but
that was not safe.
but no one
Toy
saw.
Story, I agree, though.
Nobody saw Woody going off on his own and leaving all his other toys back to Bonnie. That was a very different way. And none of the trailers gave that off, and I thought that was very interesting. So let's transition from that to the next topic, and that's the comic book movies that came out this year. So there's been about 6, 7 comic movies generally. So let's do our rankings of each movie. So not of each movie, like how we rank this year's movies. If you want, you can even start by saying what you thought about 2019 in general. Was this a good year for superhero movies? Was it an average year for superhero movies? Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll just start it off. All right,
We'll go first, yeah.
All right, I'll go first. Joker's obviously better than everything that came out. Let's not even joke about that. And if anyone puts anything above Joker, you need to get your head tested. So, Joker's the best. Let's just put that out there. And as for the year, we had probably... I think we're gonna look back at the year as kind of nostalgic because, like, Endgame came out this year. And that's like the end of the characters we grew up with. I'm sure they're going to do another 10 years thing, and then they're going to have another Avengers movie somewhere down the line. But this is like the Avengers, the first 4 Avengers movies, like the ones we kind of watched, right? We were around for them. So that makes like Endgame added to this year, makes the year kind of look great. But if you really think about it, most of the movies are kind of trash. So Far From Home, that was garbage. Captain Marvel, that was garbage. Dark Phoenix was alright. It was mid. Shazam was alright. It was alright. It did its thing.
But how would you rank them?
The ranking: Joker number 1, Endgame number 2, probably Shazam or Far From Home number 3. Those are interchangeable. Dark Phoenix 4, Captain Marvel 5.
All right. What about you, Zion? What do you think? For the year as a whole, and then kind of
the year as a whole, I think it really kind of was. Outside of like a few outliers, it was kind of an average year. Like I wouldn't say it was bad, but like it wasn't something. It wasn't like some kind of crazy year.
I mean, was it better than 20? Was it better than 2018?
I guess you could say it was better than 2018. I mean, I guess by number, I don't even remember what came out last year.
It was really Infinity War, Aquaman.
Infinity War, Black Panther. Yeah, I don't know. I think this year's better. But only because the best of this year is like it's hard to say. They're equal, but in terms of my ranking,
the best of this year is better.
But last year was a more consistent year.
Yeah, last year was more consistent. This year's like it's a hit and miss year, Yeah. But in terms of ranking, I agree with Umar that Joker's a clear cut. Like that was the best comic book superhero movie of the year by far. Number 2, obviously Avengers. Number 3, I have Glass. I guess 4, I'd have Dark Phoenix. 5, I'd put Shazam. Spider-Man at 6, and Captain Marvel at 7. I feel like outside of Avengers, Marvel really was a big letdown this year.
What about you, Samir? What are you thinking?
I got Joker first, and then Endgame, and then Dark Phoenix, and then Far From Home, and then Shazam, and then Captain Marvel was just the worst.
All right, so I think, and in general, this year, do you think it was better than 2018, or do you think 2019 was a better year?
2018 was better.
All right, so for me,
when did Infinity War come out? 20?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of which year is better, I thought 2019 has Joker, which is obviously miles ahead of both years' best films. Endgame versus Infinity War, I thought Infinity War is better. So, and then Black Panther is better than Far From Home, Captain Marvel, Dark Phoenix, or Shazam. So, and then Aquaman, I would say, is also better than Far From Home, Captain Marvel, Dark Phoenix, or Shazam. So by default, that means 2018 was a better year, even though Joker by itself was a better movie than the other group. But in terms of kind of my rankings, again, I agree with all you guys. It's kind of a no-brainer. Joker, and to quote Martin Scorsese, Joker is cinema. So the rest of the films on this list are movies. So Endgame number 2, obviously just fun, popcorn, have a good time, great culmination story. For 3, I would go Shazam, just like Umar did. Dark Phoenix, Dark Phoenix was enjoyable. But
what about Glass?
I'm not putting. I only didn't put Glass. Actually, would have been higher than both. But the only reason Glass would be higher than Endgame too for me. But the only reason I'm putting Glass is because it's not DC or Marvel, and I think our audience really wants to hear about those movies. But like I said, between Dark Phoenix, Dark Phoenix could have been a much better movie because they reshot so much of it and so much was left on the cutting room floor. I have to put it lower than Far From Home. Even if Far From Home wasn't great, I think it's worse than Homecoming. I thought that some things going forward, and it left Peter Parker at a good place, where I'm very interested to see what happens next in terms of his secret identity is exposed. So I thought that was interesting. So I'm going to give that fourth place. And then we're going to cap it off with Dark Phoenix at 5 and Captain Marvel at 6. All of us had the same best and the same worst. So I guess we're all thinking kind of alike on this one. So not too bad, huh? All right. So let's transition from that to a couple of minutes on this year for Comic Book Debate and kind of what we've been through as a site and a channel and as four brothers, kind of, and just discussing what this year has been all about. So for you guys who haven't been there the whole time, this year was our second anniversary of Comic Book Debate. It's the second anniversary of us building a website, us starting kind of this whole journey. It's also been the first year kind of completely expanding, going to a new level with this channel, with kind of what we are. So given all that, I think the main highlight for me this year for the Faruqi Bros definitely was the hospital drive event. Donating hundreds of toys to those kids at the hospital at New York Presbyterian. I thought that was a great experience, and I really enjoyed having it. Another great moment, I think, was us watching Joker together at the New York City premiere. We sat next to Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara. I thought that was very fun as well. So we had a lot of good moments. Any of you guys want to know what your favorite moment was of this year?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think all of us will agree that the most rewarding and the best experience for all of us was the charity event. I mean, so a lot of people came together and donated money to the GoFundMe, and then we got to purchase 100 plus toys, and it was just a great experience to hand those out to the kids at the hospital.
I think we're all gonna agree on the whole thing of like the hospital event is obviously closer to our heart, and like that event is kind of what we were envisioning when we made everything, like when we were starting to do stuff for this channel and also for the website and everything. So that was kind of like, you envisioned that in the start, and then it kind of came into happening. So that was an amazing experience. Obviously, watching Joker, going to the press screening at Warner Bros. Office, and then meeting some people there and stuff. That was a cool experience. So like this year kind of brought with it, and then the premiere itself was amazing too. And then it was kind of crazy because like we saw like SWAT teams and crazy stuff happening. So
yeah,
it was an experience. Like this year itself was a good year for us, and then obviously next year we're gonna do some big things too.
And we saw Endgame together too.
Yeah, we saw Endgame together. We saw Dark Phoenix together. We ended up seeing a lot of the movies together, I've noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Samir, what about your favorite moments? Huh? What do you think about sitting next to a certain someone?
Yeah, it's pretty light all around. As More likes to say, is a roller coaster of emotions.
Samir, why don't you tell the audience who that someone was?
Who was that someone, Samir?
What beats, man?
It was an ashtray. Get that up.
What did this idiot say?
He says an ashtray. Who's man? But
Tell me, was it?
it was also, potential best actor of the year, coming with Joaquin Phoenix. So,
He deserved the video.
and I think I'll close it out. And I think that just agreeing with everyone, I think this was a very special year, and I think we're capping off our second year of Comic Book Debate with this podcast. Honestly, we lost count of how many podcasts it's been because we stopped using our number system and we just started going full throttle. But I hope you guys have been enjoying the content we've been giving, and we definitely recommend you guys going to the comments and telling us the type of coverage you want to see next year. Is there certain topics you want to see more of? Do you want to see more Marvel? Do you want to see more DC? Do you want to see more Snyder Cut? So what are you looking forward from us? We'll definitely bring you guys that heat, as the four of us can do. In terms of what our social work is, that's always going to continue. We still have a partnership with DoSomething.org, which will be kicking off again next year and ready for the 2020 elections. So don't be surprised if Comic Book Debate gets a little bit of a political flair next year as we head into the elections. Of course, educationally, we're going to still be pushing forward the Comic Book Debate Workshop. The workshop is going strong. It's in multiple schools. It's continued to go strong, and we're very happy with how that's turned out. In terms of charity events, just like how we always do, we're following up from the Black Panther Challenge and the hospital event with something new, and when we're ready to announce that as a family, we will. Couple of more projects that are ready to announce. In the New Year's, we're going to announce a new initiative from Comic Book Debate. It's going to expand. We're going to have a new, little production house of our own. So we're very excited to share that with you guys in early January. Any last thoughts, guys, about the year? Any guys want to share? Any hot takes? Any final hot takes you want to spew?
Release the freaking Snyder Cut.
I think that's a good mantra going into 2020. Let's get the Snyder Cut out there. What do you guys think about all this? Are you excited for the next year of Comic Book Debate and the next year of superhero movies? There's a lot of good stuff on the way. From myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Faruqi Bros. We'll see you in 2020. Peace out.